Hi, we're with the New American Media, and we're trying to figure out what brought people today. What is this? You have an American flag. What democracy? Not for sale. Delete the elite, people before profit. Viva la Revolucion. Power to the people. And then for the stars, we have any particular blend of large corporations, or just a few that?
Well, let's start out with the ones that don't pay taxes and get
GE, I know that one.
Right. And the ones that get bailed out by us taxpayers for absolutely screwing over the economy.
Whether it's a Republican or Democrat in office, they continue the same bailout programs of banks that have overextended themselves.
Yeah, I mean, our Congress is owned by corporations, so, my message is let's wrestle it back, to democracy for the people, right?
So how do we do that? Because in this country, we all say democracy, but we're actually a republic. Because that's the difference between pitchforks and fires in streets demanding 51% of people will punch the other 49. We don't have that. We have a republic. How do we peaceably wrestle power to the people back without mob violence of what democracy is, which is why we never set up that way? How do we do that in 2011?
Well, if we could straighten out the voting system so that we each do get a true vote, like one vote, one person, one vote, I think we'd have a fair democracy. And as long as corporations can fund congressional pockets, line their pockets with as much, bribe money as possible, we're never going to have a true democracy either, or a true republic, as you say. So I mean, there's a lot of reform that needs to be done to have a true, democracy here, where we do have the voice to make change, and to bring this country back to the people. It's no longer ours. So,
do you believe that there's a correlation between the Federal Reserve System and corruption on Wall Street?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, come on, they're all in cahoots. They all went to college together. They're all buddies. They're all playing for themselves. They're not representing this country. They're not representing the people's interests in this country. Not even our economic interests. They're all representing their own interests. It's crony capitalism at its best.
Do you think that crony capitalism is funded by the Federal Reserve System?
Yeah, I think it's a major player. I mean, I think there's a lot of people involved in that problem. But yeah, that's one of them. I mean, we changed from a gold standard to an invisible number standard that, where's the money? Their number's in a computer somewhere.
Do you think we should reform the Fed?
Oh, definitely.
And are there any candidates out there talking about the Federal Reserve right now that are resonating with you to the point where you're considering supporting that End the Fed movement, where we've lost about 96% of the value of our currency since 1913 when Woodrow Wilson implemented the Federal Reserve Private Banking Corporation? Is there anyone that's speaking these types of things that you're paying attention to right now?
I haven't seen any leaders talk about that. The only people I heard talk about is the people in these kinds of movements who know the problem, want to make change, but don't have the mouthpiece or the leadership to actually make it happen on a large scale.
Have you heard of Congressman Ron Paul?
I have.
What do you think about Congressman Ron Paul?
I agree with some of his, his points, but I also think he's a Republican.
Libertarian.
Yeah, I think he claims to be libertarian, but he has a lot of Republican beliefs. Like, he wants more freedom for people in this country to make their own decisions. So why is he against abortion and freedom of choice?
He's a doctor. It's a personal choice. He's not. No. Most libertarians, now you can have this argument, but most libertarians are not necessarily against the act of abortion. Although I think it's appalling. Congressman Paul thinks it's appalling because he's a doctor. They're more upset that taxpayer money goes to fund abortion. Do you agree with taxpayer fund abortion? Should my tax dollars go to pay for an abortion?
I agree with freedom of choice, because if anybody wants to tell me what to do with my body, that's anti-freedom, and Ron Paul is about freedom of choice. So, that's the basic line, the bottom line right
So I
there.
guess one of the easy ways to do it, to kind of stem both of these, is perhaps people could have the freedom to choose to have an abortion or to choose life, or make sure that their dollars aren't taken from federal taxes and forced to go into something that they morally disagree with. Like, I think Republicans and Democrats at this point get us arguing over fringe issues, gay marriage, abortion rights, and then, 50% argue with 50%, while 99% of us are stolen from. So for me, the most important thing is restoring the value of our currency and getting a little bit of accountability back in our government. And I'm seeing frustration in Wall Street, I'm seeing it here, and we all have a voice to say. So I'm really interested in the peaceable transition to the republic returning to the power to the people. And I'm just really interested to see how this happens. So thank you very much. What was your name?
Monica.
Brian.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.